Hey everyone, it's TheBlaziking. Before I start the video, don't forget to subscribe to Keegan J and watch the video before watching my reactions to it, because honestly, doing this kind of thing is at least less likely to get me hit with copyright than the anime channel, I can say that much. At least I'm easier to, communicate with the person who made the original content than corporations who will take weeks to get back to you. But, like I said, check out the video first before you watch me or anybody else who might react to this video. And the Magikarp thing just kind of intrigued me enough that I figure I'd check it out, because can just one Magikarp beat Legends Arceus? That's the point of this video, and let's find out how he does on it. Subscribe to me, subscribe to Keegan, and let's see this.
First Pokemon ever. So I asked, is it possible to beat all of Pokemon Legends Arceus with just one single useless Magikarp? This was an insanely painful and stupid idea. Here's how it went. I named my character Mr. Masochist as a sign of what's to come. God hands us a big fat
Like me pain.
before tossing me from the sky. We meet Professor Laventon, who welcomes us into the village and offers us a Pokemon. These three look awesome, so which one is mine? Oh, no, these are mine. Here is your Pokemon. Isn't it a beauty? Yeah, very beautiful, thanks. Alright, kid, go get him. He's so dead, I hope we get to eat him. So, now we had our fish and...
Hold up. Cyndaquil? Listen, calm down, fam. You don't get to eat people just because they die in the wild. Like, I guess that is kind of the whole point of this game. Even Cylene's like, yeah, we'll welcome you back if you come back without dying first. Like, fam, that's not a nice thing to say to a 15-year-old. I mean, I guess that's kind of the whole point of half of the recent Pokemon games, but can we just talk about how with the editing he used the picture so the hand is just on the hat, so it looks like it's three hand. That's I like how that's done.
And nothing would stop us.
I don't know if the comedic part of that was intentional, but...
Moments later, we were stopped by Volo for a battle. Alright, let's see what powerful, destructive moves our Magikarp has. Splash. The user just flops and splashes around to no effect.
So he's doing that whole thing where
this
he has to
Magikarp
get...
is so terrible. Splash is the only move it
first.
knows. Now, you might be thinking, well...
Hold on, can you even get struggle in Legends Arceus? I mean, I don't see why you couldn't, but that's probably where he's going with this whole thing, is he need to waste all 40 splashes, and then he can... Actually, wait, no, how would that work? Because, like, that's easier said than done in most Pokemon games, but in this one, every time you come back to Jubilife Village, you get healed. So is he literally just going to spend all of his time in Obsidian Fieldlands until he gets Tackle from level 15? That would suck.
Yeah, but doesn't Magikarp at least get some moves later on? Nope. It used to get access to other moves, but for Legends Arceus, Game Freak took one look at Magikarp and said, we gotta nerf that. So, in this game, Magikarp only knows Splash and will never learn anything else. So, to beat this challenge, we'll have to beat full teams of powerful Pokemon with one Magikarp that can only learn Splash. On that note, I want to hear your predictions. In the comments, let me know whether you think we can actually beat this challenge.
That's my opinion. Let me know yours in my comment section and theirs.
Challenge. Now it was time for our debut battle. Magikarp splashed its little heart out while Togepi viciously tore him to pieces. Our first battle, and we'd already lost. The game still lets us advance though, purely out of pity. And in a challenge like this,
yeah, at least that is... That's also a thing. Like, at least in Legends Arceus, if you lose, 90% of the fights will let you just go on and not even bother to stop you. But regular Pokemon games, that's a completely different story. But yeah, at least up until the end game fights, he shouldn't have too much issue just being passed on.
Now we can enter the Obsidian Fieldlands, and after completing the tutorial, we're welcomed into the Galaxy team as a member of the Survey Corps. We then meet Commander Kamado, who instantly throws me to the ground. Ow, that
Hey, he
hurt.
challenged you.
Can you do it again, please? Mr. Masochist, you're a sick individual. After depositing the other Pokemon we'd caught at Ram Ranch, now we had some freedom to explore.
Hold on.
After depositing the other Pokemon we'd caught at Ram Ranch, now we had some freedom to explore. Our top...
Alexa, play Ram Ranch 45. I don't listen to it, but the meme I heard from Aaron, and if anybody has their thing on, outgoing volume without some earbuds, and your Alexa can hear that, well, you're welcome.
Priority is getting some levels onto our Magikarp, which seems difficult, right? I mean, we can't even knock out any Pokemon since we only know Splash. But in this game, there are some other ways of getting EXP that don't require us to knock out any Pokemon. For example, catching Pokemon is one way of doing this. However, there's another method, and this one's my favorite. By brutally throwing our Magikarp at berry trees, or swinging it around and using its scaly carcass to break rocks, we're awarded a small amount of
definitely
EXP each time.
Most hilarious
so
part
I spent
about
the next hour using
Legends
my Magikarp
Arceus.
as a baseball bat, as well as catching some Pokemon. I found that becoming a bug catcher was the best bet, with Dustox and...
Speaking of Legends Arceus, though, don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I often do Legends Arceus streams and stuff when I just want to sit down and do a chill shiny hunt instead of something I actually need to, pay attention to, because it's so easy to find shinies. Matter of fact, I was doing something for the Team Showdown off-season bounty hunt, and I ended up getting 2 shinies that were really cool recently, and another during the shiny race I did recently. So, I'm not sure if I uploaded the... I'm not sure if I'm going to upload the shiny reactions, but at least for the VOD of the shiny race, you can go check that out still, and I wasn't recording when I got the other 2 shinies. But, spoiler, it was the Bergmite I was looking for, so I could get Cheeto's Beard and a shiny Unknown Z. Or is it Unknown S? Regardless.
Beautifly, giving great EXP for this point in the game. Now my Magikarp was at level 15 and... Wait, you look different. Did you become shiny? Well, you don't sparkle, but whatever. I guess we have a shiny Magikarp. Yay!
What?
I looked him square in the eye and said, "Here's your Pokemon." I just dropped the Magikarp. Just dropped it on the ground. You should have seen the look on his face. He's probably dead now. Yeah, I'll just feed him to Cyndaquil. Hey guys, we're back.
Holy shit! Really, the whole meme with the Magikarp turning shiny, that's funny.
Holy hell, you're alive? I mean,
Wait,
of course
when
you're
did that
alive, my
happen?
boy. Good work. We get our 1-star rank from Silene before Akari challenges us to a fight. Now, she has a Pikachu, and Magikarp does not get along with electricity. So, all Magikarp could do was splash around until Pikachu gave it the electric chair. Yet another loss. However, this is another fight that you don't actually need to win to progress the game. There's plenty of those.
Pretty
and
sure
Legends Arceus has
all
some
of
the
them are
toughest
like that
fights
up
in
until the
series,
last one.
But in a grueling challenge like this, I'll take any free pass that the game is willing to give me.
Well, not last
After the battle,
one.
We meet Zisu,
I'm
the
pretty sure
person
up
who
until
teaches your
endgame,
Pokemon
all of them
moves.
are
If they
you
can
lose,
learn any,
whatever.
Magikarp is the best
maybe
dragon
not the
Pokemon. So
Misfortune
it's only fitting
Sisters,
that
but...
this video is sponsored by Dragon City, a free-to-play mobile game that lets you collect over 1,000 awesome dragons. Just like Pokemon, in Dragon City, you'll power up by earning EXP, learn...
Also, can I just point out how I actually do want to just, start taking notes of half of these sponsors I see from people and legit just, downloading the game on BlueStacks or something and playing it on the channel. Just a quick little tryout video, see how the game is. Because I see so many ads from other YouTubers and from the games I play that honestly I just want to start downloading all these various things and see if any of them are actually good. This one seems like it could be entertaining because it's like Pokemon, and as far as my mobile games go, I'm usually about waifus and card games, but I mean, hey, I'd give it a shot.
New moves and battle against other players. The designs look awesome, like this obsidian dragon, but personally, my favorite is the mud dragon. He looks like he eats crayons. You can expand your empire by breeding two compatible dragons to create a hybrid.
That is so true.
Flame and sea dragons spawned a cute little cloud dragon.
Like, hold on, that mud dragon looks like it could be a pet for cheese. If people don't remember that show, you're either not old enough or you've really had a bad childhood, and I apologize, but you need to look up Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. It's like almost SpongeBob level of memorable. Almost.
Who I lovingly named Clump. But you know what's even cooler? Zombies. That's why iconic characters from The Walking Dead are now available in Dragon City. So click the link in the description or
hold on, was that
this
dragon
QR
fucking
code to get
Negan?
involved. You'll receive a special starter pack of 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and the epic zombie nature dragon. Download
Michonne
Dragon City and start
Negan,
your
I'm
empire
guessing
right
was that
now.
last one.
Pikachu.
Back in the Obsidian Fieldlands, and now the heat really turns up because we have to take on Mai and her Munchlax. Not only is Munchlax incredibly strong, but this is a fight that we actually have to beat. So, Mai made fun of my silly little balls, and then slapped my Magikarp into its grave. This is the first real hurdle. So, how do we beat this?
Well, I guess I was wrong
it's
before
true that Magikarp
when I
only
said
knows Splash, which does
everything
nothing.
until the
However,
end game,
once
but
all 40 of its Splash PP is drained, only then can Magikarp use Struggle, a 50 power move. The catch is that Struggle also damages the user, which makes using it multiple times in a row really challenging.
You know, I'll be honest, I never was aware what the base power for Struggle was. Was it always 50, or is that, like, recent to Legends Arceus where it was set at 50 in case, for some reason, some weird masochist decided to take a Pokemon like Magikarp and just run with it? Not information I think is relevant to look up unless I decide doing a challenge like this, but let me know if you know, because I'm kind of curious.
Anyway, I had to tediously drain all of my Splash PP against the weak Wurmple that were in the area. This took ages, and I won't bother showing this Splash Fest again because, well, this is pretty much the entire experience. Enjoy. However, after our Magikarp has taken 40 trips to Splash Mountain, now we can use Struggle, which didn't even one-shot a level 4 Wurmple. We are in trouble. Regardless, dragging my fish behind me, I stepped up to face Mai. Alright.
Though, is Struggle counted as physical or special damage? Or is it just, like, not counted as either? Also, another good question. Because, like, actually, I guess in this fight it doesn't really matter, because Munchlax is one of the fattest things in either stat.
Right, Magikarp, give me your best Struggle. Wait, what? It did nothing! And I still took recoil damage? Struggle is meant to have 100% accuracy. What is going on? That's it. I'm renaming you from Magikarp to Magikrap. You suck. Anyway, I did some testing. Most of the time, Struggle just wouldn't land. I didn't have any trouble with using
that's
it on
weird.
wild Pokemon, just Munchlax. However, sometimes it would land, but even then, only did around a quarter of Munchlax's health, and we'd soon fall afterwards. So, putting aside the disobedience of my fish, we needed to power up Magikarp. While Magikarp's stats suck, the one advantage we have in this fight is that Magikarp has reasonable physical defense. This helps since Munchlax is a physical attacker. Besides that, and our solid speed, Magikarp's stats are straight garbage. So, I grinded some EXP using the same methods as before.
Bonk trees.
We can also take the Pokemon we catch and grind them down into grit items, which basically act like fish food for Magikarp. These raise our stats, giving us a much needed boost. So, after reaching the level 2 survey rank, I return to rematch Mai with my now level 25 Magikarp. Magikarp still won't land its attacks, so I'll have to live with that. Just another layer of frustration and pain for Mr. Masochist. Although, being at level 25 lets me tank Munchlax's attacks a lot better. So, I tweaked my strategy by alternating between trying to land Struggle on one turn and then healing up with a potion on the next turn. I can keep Magikarp alive, but by no means was this
the
easy,
Magikarp
because
was like,
landing
let's
Struggle
go!
is, well, a struggle. On this attempt, I burned through my whole supply of 13 potions, only landing 2 struggles in the process. Why is this move so broken?
Yeah, like, honestly, that's the real question. Why is Struggle not working like it should in any game for him right now? Because, like he pointed out, is, like, infinite accuracy, like Swift. And this ain't Gen 1, so there's no 1 in 256 glitch. So, like... And he's taking the recoil, so it's not like he's missing. So it's not doing something like high jump kick, where if he misses, they still take damage. So, yeah, what... Is there just something wrong with the coding for Struggle in Legends Arceus? I mean, I guess a lot of moves were changed in the game, so maybe something like that could have happened. Maybe he'll figure out and explain it, but at this current point in the video, I have no clue personally. Like,
do something! After almost an hour, I finally hit some luck, with Magikarp's 2 brain cells eventually sparking, allowing it to land enough struggles to finally take down Munchlax. But if it took me that long to beat the first mandatory battle, how on earth would Magikarp be able to defeat trainers with full teams of powerful Pokemon? This was going to be rough. As a reward for winning, Mai heals up my Magikarp. Can you not? Now I have to go and drain its PP again. After that grueling grind, you might be thinking, well, at least we can progress a bit now, right? Wrong, because about 30 seconds later, we come across this pest.
Oh no.
This battle is way worse than the Munchlax
Oh no.
fight. Firstly, Kricketune has the move Absorb, which is super effective against Magikarp, while also healing Kricketune. But much worse than that is the fact that the game heals you before...
Can't you, like, catch the Kricketune, though? Like, isn't that a thing that they allow you to do? I don't remember if I caught it or killed it personally, so maybe I'm wrong. Oh.
Every single attempt. For those playing along at home, this means we can't use Struggle because we will always start this fight with 40 splash PP. What a nightmare. So I needed to power up my Magikarp and noticed that it could evolve. This was my chance. With this, Magikarp would become an unstoppable beast capable of mass destruction and... What? My fish is broken! I want a new one! I hate you! Something seems very wrong with this.
That's kind of the point of doing it.
How do we deal with... something seems very...
So, 2 things on that. 1, obviously you can't do a Magikarp run without it staying a Magikarp. And that's kind of the joke, but I mean... People would flip. Then again, comments are good for the YouTube algorithm, so comment down below what you think of Satan Pikachu. That's a reference to one of his older videos.
Very wrong with this Pichu. Anyway, how do we deal with Kricketune? Well, we have to beat it, and we can't use Struggle. This really leaves only one option. PP stalling. In the same way that we drained our splash PP to use Struggle, we could stall out Kricketune's PP to force it into using Struggle, eventually taking itself out with the recoil damage. Is this tedious and painful? Absolutely. But that's just how Mr. Masochist likes it. So, after crafting a war chest of potions, I returned to Kricketune, ready for a
war
rematch.
chest.
And even then, I still lost. By using an agile style Absorb, Kricketune got 2 attacks in a row, before finishing me off with a second, strong style Absorb immediately after. I was already
Can we just talk about how the speed in Legends Arceus not meaning anything is probably the worst part about the game? Like, not panties in a bunch. The graphics aren't as good as they could be for being like Breath of the Wild. No. That is the worst part of Breath of the Wild, of Legends Arceus. Because, like that shiny hunting method for alphas where you gotta kill X amount every time in a group. That's made a lot harder when like all 3 through 4 of them can attack anywhere between 2 and 3 times before you get one shot off.
Spreading this challenge. Was my suffering going to be worth it? Probably not. But it might be if you like the video and subscribe to the channel. After grind.
Can we also talk about that? How that's one of the better parts of Legends Arceus? How the character, albeit random at times, at least shows more emotion than just sitting there like, well, everything is going on. It can be a matter of, the world is ending. Oh my god, everyone's about to die. Your mother, your father, your uncle, the professor, me, your baby brother, youngster Joey, everyone's gonna die. And meanwhile, the trainer's just sitting there like, at least in this, it's like, everyone's gonna die. And the trainer's like,
Magikarp to level 30, I tried tackling Kricketune once more, and still lost. However, this time, Kricketune needed a critical hit to take me out, so I just had to dodge every critical hit. Easy. On the next attempt, things were going much smoother. Kricketune knows 4 moves with a combined PP of 120. So
big PP
I had to
energy.
sit there force-feeding my fish potions while Kricketune slapped it around over and over. By no means was this quick, but it was effective. After around 25 minutes of stalling, Kricketune was finally out of PP and began using Struggle. A few turns later, it died to its own recoil damage, and we had finally beaten just the second mandatory battle. We were already struggling this hard to beat a level 12 Kricketune.
No. I'm just gonna state this. Hopefully he doesn't do the thing I've seen other people do, where they actually send their Pokemon in to fight against the nobles. Because you don't need to do that. It suggests it, but you actually don't need to do that. You can legit just go up to Cleavor, Electrode, and all of them and just be like, ah! And just throw the shit. You don't actually have to send your Pokemon out. Something I didn't learn until after my first playthrough, but I mean, it's a thing.
How bad was this challenge going to get? Hang on, are you getting more yellow? Could it be a special shiny? The noble lord Cleavor is enraged, so Kamado decides to send the guy.
I also like the edits he does to his Pokemon
Makes
for
sense
these
to
things.
Me. After running all
like the
way
Pichu
to
thing
Cleavor's
earlier.
shrine, we're confronted by Leanne, who we have to defeat. Thing is, he only has a level 15 Goomy, and this ball of goo is pretty.
Can we just talk about how I'm pretty sure when I made my playthrough, I read his name as Liam? Like, go back in my VODs, or on my playlist, and, like, if I said Liam, comment on that video and let me know, because that'd be a little embarrassing, honestly.
Trash. Like every other battle this run, I have to wait for Magikarp to actually decide to contribute.
I go when I'm ready.
Like we did against Munchlax, I keep Magikarp alive for long enough to land 2 struggles, burying Goomy without much trouble. Oh, he's not dead yet. I really wanted to eat him. After playing a banging tune on our flute, he's not dead yet. I really wanted to eat him.
Damn. Like, I won't lie, I was half hoping he would have taken a screenshot from, honestly, there's a ton of movies or TV shows he could have taken a screenshot from, but I was half hoping, like, he would have taken a screenshot from Dahmer, because it came out a couple days before this, so it would have actually been an appropriate joke to make. Well, appropriate timeline-wise, not appropriate subject-wise, but, I mean, if you're talking about eating people, at least stay timely.
Him after playing a banging tune on our flute. Weirdeer agrees to carry us around on its back. Anyway,
I love how the Magikarp is just hanging out of the
sack.
sack.
We're confronted by the Pearl Clan boss, Irida. Just like Leanne, she won't let us pass unless we defeat her. Although, Irida is a cut above Leanne. Her Glaceon is really strong. On top of that, Glaceon also knows Quick Attack, a move which basically lets Glaceon attack 2 times in a row. After the struggle recoil damage, these 2 attacks are enough to KO my fish. Once again, we were in a rough spot. I leveled up Magikarp to 35 before trying to rematch with Irida's Ice Doggo, and this attempt was going really well. I landed my very first struggle.
Actually,
which,
Eevee is
nice
one of those
job,
Pokemon
Magikarp,
that's like
and was stalling
debatable for
nicely.
what its
Magikarp
innate
charged up its
species
next
is,
struggle,
because
but
some of them
fell
are
just short of
canine-like
getting
and
KO.
others are
And sadly,
feline-like.
Magikarp fell. So close.
But what is
so
Eevee
far.
itself?
With that crushing loss, I had to go back to
I think it's supposed to be fox-like or something, or like
but
some
this
sort of
still isn't easy.
canine,
As we already
but
saw,
I could be
Glaceon
wrong.
can combo a quick attack into a swift.
Because while I can argue Entei Suicune and Raikou, I'm not sure about the
And
evolutions.
since Swift has 20 PP, I had to dodge 20 critical hits. I prayed to RNGesus and finally had some luck. I got through all 20 of Glaceon Swifts, healing up in between
hit the
attacks.
like button if
Once
you agree
Glaceon
that
started using Powder
Entei
Snow,
Suicune and
I
Raikou
knew
are
that I was in
cats.
the clear.
Comment down
Neither
below
of her
if
remaining
you
attacks
think
are very
wrong.
threatening. So after some more cheese, Glaceon struggled itself to death. Having seen our devastating Pokemon skill,
Or just hit the
no
like button or
choice but to
comment
let us
anyway,
take
because
on the
comments are good for the
noble lord of
YouTube
the woods,
algorithm.
Cleavor. Alright, Magikarp, go! No!
Do good.
Useless! I'll just do it myself. I dodged Cleavor's attacks, which made it run headfirst into a wall over and over again. By slapping it with a barrage of bombs, we were able to quell the noble Lord Cleavor without taking a single point of damage. No thanks to you. With the experience gained from the battle, Magikarp was ready to evolve, and surely it'll turn into something good this time.
No.
What? You're still a Magikarp, but now you're blue? What is wrong with my fish? After reporting back to Kamado, we're given our next mission, to explore the Crimson Mirelands.
Like I said, I highly
Kamado,
appreciate
just one
Keegan's
more
jokes
thing.
in these.
Of course. What is it, Mr. Masochist?
Like-
Can you throw me to the ground again? Mr. Masochist, get out of my office. As we approach the gate, we're stopped by Akari for another battle. We have 2 Pokemon now,
That was
so
good.
this would be tough if we actually had to beat her. Since winning this fight isn't necessary, I have Magikarp splash his little heart out before being slapped around by Mime Jr. We take those. Now we can access the
We
Crimson
take
Mirelands,
those.
where we meet Kalaba, who immediately calls me a hoe. Despite her rudeness,
What?
Williams, where we meet Kalaba, who immediately calls me...
Oh, well, yep, guess she did. I mean, hey, your daughter. Yeah, new style of joke, not your mama anymore, it's a your daughter joke. Man, whatever happened to your mama jokes? People got sensitive and they're just not funny anymore. Well, I mean, they're still funny in spades. Like, if you actually come up with something unique, not like something someone's heard 1,000 times.
me a hoe. Despite her rudeness, we'll have to help her retrieve a stolen artifact. Before that, we've got to take on Volo. But this is another fight that we don't have to win. So
Thankfully.
Magikarp can be a splashing punching bag, while Togepi tears us to shreds. Such prodigious strength. Were we watching the same fight? Anyway, in our search for the missing artifact, we eventually find the culprits, the Misfortune Sisters. We have to battle Coin, and this is a battle that we actually have to win.
Oh,
She uses a
yeah,
Toxicroak, which is pretty
that's
strong,
what I was
but
thinking
since it
earlier.
only knows 2 moves for a combined PP of 35, I decided that PP stalling was my best option. Although this still requires a ton of luck. Toxicroak's Venoshock just barely doesn't kill Magikarp, so
Can we
have
also-
to dodge 50.
Can we also talk about how much money this playthrough must have cost in-game? Because if you constantly have to buy potions for PP stalling for battles like this, like, that's just all, like, I'm having trouble making the money to buy balls to continuously shiny hunt in that game. Like, I have to sell my grit dust and stuff over and over again, because I haven't just sat around and, like, farmed out items and distortions in a while, which maybe I'll like turn on the game and do that a little bit, unless I decide to record other shit after this. We'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, the money aspect of things, if he wasn't doing that, how else are you really gonna earn the money other than just going around catching everything and selling it after? Well, I guess through your main playthrough of the game, that's the easy part because you make money.
15 critical hits in a row. And even if you make it past that, once Toxicroak starts using Rock Smash, it's still risky. See, Rock Smash has a chance to lower my defense. On top of that, it can also use an agile Rock Smash to get 2 attacks in a row. So, if it lowers my defense, I can still die if the second Rock Smash crits. Basically, I need a ton of luck. Fortunately, God was looking out for me this time, as Magikarp was able to dodge every critical hit while guzzling down
yes, the
potions
shiny
every
Bidoof
single
in the
turn.
sky, just
I
like
came
one
really
of the ones
close
I
to
lost
losing
to
so many
the
times,
Aether.
but Magikarp hung on.
Actually, you know, while I'm watching a video for Legends Arceus, I should put this thought out there. Anybody else notice that the mechanic is saving before you go into an area so you don't lose a shiny has not worked quite how it should recently? Because I've lost 2 shinies recently because I thought it worked like it should. Went back to the area to the exact same place that shiny was, and it's just like, no shiny here. So is that just me doing something wrong or what? Let me know.
And eventually, Toxicroak struggled itself to death. The way you treat your Magikarp as a punching bag is unholy. You're the real evil one here. Just hand over the artifact, or my Magikarp will splash really angrily. Fine, just take it. We return the fragment.
Can we just talk about this, right? Like, did Keegan do that on purpose? I want to say he did that on purpose. Kind of like, I think it's Sylph or Flygon who does the pronunciations wrong of certain Pokemon. I know, like, that's comedy, but I mean, it made me pause the video just to make sure that's what I saw.
Or my Magikarp will splash really angrily. Fine, just take it. We return the fragment to Kalaba, who translates the sacred prophecy. It says the worst is yet to come. And look, she's not wrong, because this challenge is going to get way harder once I have to take on full teams of strong Pokemon with only my fish. Having earned Kalaba, she asks us to help with calming the big bear Ursaluna. But to do that, we need to beat it in a battle. This is deadly. Ursaluna is the strongest Pokemon we've faced by far, with some insane stats and powerful moves. Its most powerful move is Slash. It's kind of like Splash, except where Splash has an extra P, Slash has an extra 70 base power. Like I said, pretty similar. Anyway, Slash alone nearly kills
totally
Magikarp
similar.
in one shot. This means I can't use Struggle, since the recoil damage would kill me. On top of that, Slash has a high critical hit chance of 12.5%, so dodging all the crits while draining its PP is unlikely. I did try, however, failed miserably over and over again, although I kept trying until finally getting past all of Ursaluna's slashes. This was the run. Until it wasn't the run, because Ursaluna whipped out this was the run. Until...
Can we just talk about the way Ursaluna's eyes just bulge out when it goes to attack? Like just... Ursaluna's about to use Slash. It looks like what would happen in a cartoon if a bear was angry their child was being stolen or something. I mean, that just could be my perspective, but that's what it looks like.
It wasn't the run, because Ursaluna whipped out a new strategy. Turns out the big bear can also combo an agile bulldoze into a play rough back-to-back, which absolutely decimates my Magikarp. Clearly, my current approach wasn't going to work. So what can we do? Well,
wonder if he's gonna find a shiny while he's doing this.
We needed to bulk him up, and I had just the thing.
Because it is just from yesterday, so I mean,
guard item. By collecting the necessary
all the
ingredients, we can
updates
craft
have
the
happened,
Orc's
so he
Guard,
very well
which raises
could.
the user's defense for 5 turns. After grinding Magikarp to level 40 and stocking up on a ton of Orc's Guards, it was time to rematch Ursaluna. On turn 1, I immediately set up my Orc's Guard, and this makes all the difference. Now, not even a critical hit Slash can kill me in one shot. Since the Orc's Guard wears off after 5 turns, I have to
really?
continue
That's a
setting
thing?
up while also recovering my HP. This fight took an insanely long time, but our new strategy worked a treat. Eventually, Ursaluna was left with only Bulldoze PP, and at this point, our win was sealed. Soon after, the giant bear struggled itself to death before the might of my blue fish. Ursaluna was calmed, and by playing the Forbidden Tune, we can now ride the big bear. And Ursaluna has a very well-trained nose. It can even sniff out people who haven't liked the video. Oh god, it's noticed you! Quick, like the video to protect yourself before it's too late! Anyway, we can also use Ursaluna to sniff out the missing warden, Irizu. Once we've found her, we're cleared to take on the next noble lord, Lilligant. As we know from our previous noble fight, our Magikarp is dead weight here. So I take over and evacuated the dance floor. Before long, I'd slapped Lilligant with enough bombs to calm it down without taking a single hit. With another noble quelled, we report our progress to Kamado, who gives us our next mission, to investigate the Cobalt Coastlands. Once we arrive, we're stopped by Irida for a battle. I guess it was bring your child to work day, because this time, her Glaceon brought an EV along with it, and we have to battle both at the same time. These multi-battles are going to be a problem, but not this time. Winning here isn't mandatory, so Magikarp takes an almighty 3-shoe beating. Now I feel better. I guess treating Magikarp like a punching bag really helped her relieve some stress. Anyway, we learned that there's no noble lord of this area, and Irida asks us to help fix that. Once we find the warden, Polina, we hear that the previous Lord Arcanine drowned. That's when a stroke of genius hit me. Polina, I've got it. I'll trade your Growlithe for my Magikarp, who will take the throne as the noble lord of this area. The best part? He's a fish, so he won't drown like the previous lord. That's the
won't drown, probably. Also, can we talk real quick about how Paulina is probably the best girl in this game, period, hands down? Like, I know I bring up waifus way too much. That's kind of a main feature on my anime channel, but I mean, compared to everyone else, she's not only of age, but she's also the hottest. I mean, I guess, I completely forgot her name. The silver fox at the end of the show, or show, Jesus Christ, at the end of the game, her. Nope, can't remember her name. Cynthia's other ancestor, though. But, like, yeah, of the 3 legal females, I'm pretty sure Irizu is also, like,
and I've never
16.
been so insulted. So, that's a maybe? Alright, well, you get back to me when you're ready. Our next stop is to visit Iscan, who will help us use a fish to cross the ocean.
And can we also talk about how this dude is with her? Like, I need some self-help books or something, because, I mean, I'm not too far off from being in that dude's emotional range. So, I mean, shit.
Ocean. This seems silly, though. I mean, I have my own fish. Why can't I use that? Oh, right. Iscan forces us to become a Ghostbuster, catching a Chef Dusclops that he needs to cook Basculegion's favorite food. That all makes sense to me. With Basculegion's food ready, we head down to the beach and summon the powerful beast. That's one fine-looking fish. Why doesn't mine look like that? Basculegion gives me the splash plate, which feels very fitting for a challenge like this. Out of nowhere, the Misfortune Sisters appear and steal Growlithe. Hang on, if I don't get Growlithe back, then Polina won't be able to trade for my Magikarp. I've got to do something. We chased after the thieves with the help of an actually competent fish for a change. And once we reach Fire Pit Island, we confront the thieves.
Okay.
This will be
that must have been in the video.
Yet.
That sounds like my dog whining.
Of the Misfortune Sisters
even though she's sitting right there sleeping.
In between. To make matters worse, Clover has a level 35 Abomasnow, a grass-type Pokemon that also knows Energy Ball, which is an incredibly strong grass move. She's our first opponent, and even after setting up an Orc's Guard, Energy Ball still decimates Magikarp in one shot. It was instantly clear that level 40 just wasn't going to cut it. And even after getting Magikarp to level 50 and seasoning it with grit items, Magikarp was still no match. Even at level 60, Abomasnow just switched to a strong-style Energy Ball, which still sends my fish to the Shadow Realm. But finally, there was a sliver of hope after Magikarp reached level 70, because only now can I survive an Energy Ball and begin stalling out the 10 PP. This attempt was going perfect until...
Great.
Yeah, turns out Energy Ball also has a 20% chance to lower my defense. And once my defense boost is removed, we're back to square one. Abomasnow then sucks the life out of Magikarp with just one Energy Ball.
So basically,
now we had...
he needs to clear out the entirety of Energy Ball's PP and not hit that 20% chance. Which, if we look at it on another scale, that's 1 of every 5 PP used that could lower the defense. See, this is the kind of challenge where I call people insane.
Had a chance, but the odds were stacked against me. I would need to dodge both a critical hit and the 20% chance for the defense drop 10 times in a row. The combined chance of this happening is only 7%. That's my success rate to stall out just the very first move on the very first Pokemon. Even then, there's still 3 other Pokemon to deal with. This was insane, but that's just how Mr. Masochist likes it. And so, we stepped up to face Clover. And every time, I got slapped around in the RNG hellfire. It was brutal, but after so many attempts, I finally hit some luck.
No wonder that Magikarp's blue. It's suffocating itself just trying to survive.
Because on this one, I stalled out Abomasnow's 10 energy balls. Now it was down to only its ice-type moves, which barely tickled my fish. So it's pretty safe to have Magikarp do its splashy dance until Abomasnow eventually rage quits life. That's Clover taken care of. Next up is Coin and her Toxicroak. It isn't anywhere near as big of a threat as Abomasnow, so we can stall out its moves easily. Although it is annoying to deal with the constant
is this going to be like the Giratina thing, and
but
he'll have to start over if he
soon follows
loses.
Abomasnow into the next life. Now it was down to only Charm, but this is the first battle against 2 Pokemon that we actually have to win. And after all the struggle I went through to make it this far, I was so nervous. Charm opens with a Rhydon, but I counter her with my trap card, Rhydon D. Her Rhydon isn't too scary,
oh dear God,
especially
no.
since I move first and can set up an Orc's Guard. Its attacks didn't do much at all, so I actually tried using Struggle again, and I guess the Struggle accuracy curse had been lifted, because now it was actually landing and doing solid damage. At this rate, it was going to take 4 struggles to KO Rhydon, but I needed to make sure that Magikarp was healed up when I got the KO, so that I can take a hit from the incoming Gengar. So with that in mind, I fired off my 3rd struggle and... Are you kidding me? The one time I rely on you to attack, you get a critical hit at the worst possible time. Since I hadn't healed yet, Gengar came in and ruined my day with a single strong-style Venoshock, slaughtering my fish.
Right.
No, you did not do good. I'm gonna throw you into the lava. I knew this run was going to be painful, so I had no choice but to keep trying. And this time, Abomasnow was a demon. I just couldn't catch a break. Attempt after attempt was...
honestly, I feel complete sympathy for him on this one. Like, I've never experienced something this horrendous, but the fact he had to... Actually, that's a slight lie, because the Cynthia fight and the Volo/Giratina fight in this were painful enough with normal Pokemon, let alone this kind of challenge. So I've experienced similar, just not to this degree of pain. Matter of fact, comment down below on my video and their video, or his video. I don't know why I'm saying their. Am I just going to start referring to everyone as neutral because that's where the world's heading? Fucking whatever. Yeah, do you think he's actually going to be able to get to Volo and Giratina in the post-game, let alone win? Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all about that. Like, he's level 70 and he's having trouble with grass types half his, level.
Denied.
Maybe
by
it'll become
this
Redfish and
snowman. And
destroy.
as each failed attempt rolled by, my disdain for Magikarp and that damn critical hit grew. It did not come easy, but after about an hour of failing miserably, I finally got lucky enough to make it past Abomasnow's energy balls. Just like last time, finishing Abomasnow from here is a piece of cake, and Coin's Toxicroak gets a similar treatment. So once again, we were back at Charm. But this time, my strategy was different. Instead of finishing it off with Struggle, I decided to take the much slower, but much safer approach of stalling out its PP. Reason being, this means that Gengar will come in after Rhydon attacks. So, unlike last time, I should have a turn to heal up before Gengar gets to attack. So, I patiently stall against Rhydon, cycling between restoring my HP with potions and restoring my defense buffs with Orc's Guards. This worked great. Interestingly though, once Rhydon ran out of PP, Charm just straight switched into Gengar. I continued stalling against the spooky ghost until it missed a hypnosis. Since I still had plenty of HP left, I attacked with struggle, and this did over half of Gengar's health. Thankfully, I then tank a Venoshock before healing back up. Gengar does solid damage with Dark Pulse, but at this range, I can finish Gengar off with one last struggle. Charm still has her Rhydon, but since it's out of PP, it can only use struggle, which Magikarp survives, before we finally watch the last of Charm's Pokemon go down. Damn, that felt good. That was a grind.
Though, continuing on what I said about Paulina earlier, not gonna lie, the ancestor here can also, well, repeat the joke said just a couple minutes ago.
Although it's gonna get way worse later on. After the battle, the little
I love the foreshadowing that keeps happening with Volo. That's just, and of course, so
it's up
on
to me
point.
And Magikarp to stop it. On second thought, this guy's pretty scary. Fine, take Magikarp, but just let me go free. After dodging a barrage of attacks from Arcanine, we smacked it with enough farms to calm the giant beast. Once again, Mr. Masochist and his fish had saved the day. Hey Iscan, how about you trade your crummy Basculegion for my awesome Magikarp?
No.
Shut up, Mr. Masochist. No one wants your damn fish. Oh, why do I get stuck with Magikarp? Now it's trying to evolve again. Hurry it up. We all know you're not getting any stronger. Whoa, Magikarp, are you feeling okay? Nurse, is my Magikarp okay? Oh no, this is bad. What's wrong? It's a serious case, one of the worst I've ever seen. It could be fatal. But what does he have? Ligma. What's Ligma?
Okay, now, the fact he's running it in his own video to answer his own joke. I appreciate that, honestly. And that's also very good questions to ask Paulina.
Ligma. I'm sorry, child. He doesn't have long. You'll be fine, Magikarp. We always pull through. After reporting back to Kamado, we're given our next mission to explore the Coronet Highlands. But before we set out, Adamant stops us for a battle. Just like the Irida fight, this one is a 2-on-1, and just like the Irida fight, we don't actually have to win. So after Magikarp gets beaten up by a plant, we're all clear to enter the Coronet Highlands. Our guide is this dude,
I know.
Ingo.
I'm so
like
easy
us,
with my humor
future.
that I actually laugh at
I
these
had a
simple
brother
jokes.
back in my own time. I know how you feel. I've got a brother too, Mr. Fister. We're really close. Mr. Fister and Mr. Masochist, huh? You guys sound like quite a good pair. We continued traveling with Ingo.
Ayo? Listen. That's probably true, but...
Until coming across Melly, the jerk with some ridiculously luscious hair. He likes the noble
That's
Electro
true.
as an angry little acorn, so forces us into a battle.
I'd have
was
nice hair if I
hoping
took
this
care
would
of
be
it.
Another freebie, but turns out we actually have to win this one. So now it was time to take on Melly for real. Since this is a 1v1, I felt confident that I could struggle my way through until... Oh god, the curse is back! Since I couldn't land any struggles, I had to once again sit there like an idiot, PP stalling because my fish refused to cooperate. Anyway, since we had to get so strong to beat the Misfortune Sisters, beating Melly's Skuntank is no sweat as it eventually falls to struggle recoil. But Melly will be back in a little bit with a 3-on-1, which I am not looking forward to. Just up ahead, we come across this Bronzor who is unwell,
like,
and this woman just
two of
heals
them
him
are
up.
pretty
No
weak
trouble
too.
at all. Okay, but why can't anyone cure my Magikarp's Ligma? Anyway, apparently we need to beat Ingo if we want to climb these cliffs.
I don't know, why can nobody
Magikarp
cure
can jump pretty high though, so I feel like we could get up there on our own if we really wanted. But his team is tough. Ingo has 3 Pokemon, including the part Grass type, part Spaghetti type, Tangela. The last Grass type we went up against was a nightmare, so I am not looking forward to this. Ingo leads with a Machoke, who isn't too hard to take out. My struggles were landing again, which I still can't explain. And Machoke also uses Double Edge, which hurts
And we're,
itself.
what,
So
more than
pretty
halfway
quickly,
through the
Machoke
video and
went
he still
down.
hasn't
But
figured that
next
out?
is the scariest Pokemon on his team. I thought Tangela wouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's Tangela.
Where do I know that sound from? It was like... It was also like Foster's or that show where the kid Chalk Zone, yeah, that show. It was one of those type of shows where there was just like a random black blob of scribbly mess that made that sound. At least that's what I remember hearing it from.
Look at it. I was wrong. Because even with full health and boosted defense, a single strong style energy ball turned my Magikarp into fish paste. Clearly, we needed to power up. So I threw some grit rocks at my Magikarp, boosting our stats to level 10, as well as reaching level 75. But I'm not done yet. We can also buy the recipe for the Orc's Power Guard. This is an upgrade over the Orc's Guard that we've been using thus far, as this item also boosts our attack stat. With these upgrades to my fish, I marched back up the mountain for a rematch with Ingo. Just like...
Hey, can we also talk about how we need, like, another revamp of Teen Titans, but, like, the old Teen Titans? Not... like, a lot is wrong with Go in hindsight, because the writing is really good from what I've seen and heard, but the art style is just disappointing. Like, we had anime-level Teen Titans 15 years ago, and now we have Saturday morning cartoon Teen Titans, even though the last one was more Saturday morning cartoon in actuality, but... Oh, make Teen Titans great again. Like, it's an okay place, but, like, if people can't get by the art style, you're not going to attract as much as you could audience-wise. Anyway.
Last time, Machoke isn't too hard to deal with. However, I do make sure to take it down only when I have 2 consecutive turns. The reason for this is that I need to heal up before Tangela gets a chance to attack. This goes exactly to plan, and with the extra stat buffs to Magikarp, this time around we can survive an energy ball as long as we dodge a crit. I keep healing as Tangela keeps hitting me with energy balls, until my paralysis wears off and Tangela tries to use a stun spore, but this time it missed. This gives me a chance to use Struggle, which fell just short of getting the KO. I was paralyzed on the next turn, but with one more Struggle, Magikarp slaughters the board Spaghetti. Bon appetit. Last up is Ingo's ace, Gliscor. It's a strong Pokemon, but not as threatening as Tangela. So with some healing and a few struggles, Gliscor went down and Ingo...
Can we also talk about how evasion stats are complete bullshit in Legends Arceus? Like, you get just the 1 up, and it's like, oh yeah, that 100% move you have, that automatically drops to 50. Good luck.
...had been defeated. This lets us ride the literal Wolverine until we reach the top of the cliffs. But once we reach the summit, we're stopped by Melee again. Only this time, we have to battle him in a 3 versus 1, all at the same time. What makes matters worse is that Magikarp just picks a random target to attack when I use Struggle. This led to some frustrating scenarios where I couldn't hit the Pokemon I wanted, causing Magikarp to fall as a result. I lost several attempts, but I knew that I had a chance if the luck went my way. Until this attempt. I move first and immediately set up an Orc's Power Guard so that I can tank all 3 attacks from Melee's gang. I take huge damage, but now get 2 turns in a row. I use the first to attack, with Struggle randomly hitting Skuntank, bringing it below half health. The poison damage then leaves me on just 2 HP, but I can use my second turn to heal back up. After some stalling with potions, I tried to fire off another Struggle, but turns out it can still do nothing. I hate this mechanic. After healing up once again, I eventually land another Struggle, which hits Zubat this time, taking it out in 1 shot. Now that we're up against 2 Pokemon, it's a little more manageable, but still risky as I get low a few times. But like a champion, Magikarp holds firm, and the next Struggle that actually lands ends up finishing Skuntank. This leaves only Skorupi, who is no match alone for the might of Magikarp. 1 more Struggle takes it down, sealing the win. And Melee is not taking it well. Adamant steps in,
Melee's
and with his
kind of a
help,
dick,
we're clear
though.
to take on the next noble lord. Problem is, Electrode is like the hardest hard counter to Magikarp possible. It's a grass and electric type, which is awful for my fish. I did try to battle, but Magikarp was electrocuted and
Why would
fried
you even
instantly.
try, though?
I took over and dodged the giant electric balls, slapping Electrode...
Though, I will say, of all of the fucking fights with the nobles, this Electrode is the second hardest one, just because it is basically constantly dropping Voltorbs on top of your ass, and that's kind of bullshit. Like, the Arcanine one is hard, but that took me 2 attempts. Pretty sure this one took me like 3 or 4. And we're not even going to talk about the Avalugg.
With a barrage of bombs calming down the giant acorn. Melly drops to his knees like it's a truck stop bathroom before Ingo gives a passionate speech about the bonds between people and Pokemon. Yep, my bond with Magikarp is strong because our bond is made out of an iron chain. Very strong. After reporting our success back to Kamado, we're given our next mission to quell the final noble lord. But before we can leave the town, Akari stops us for one final showdown. We haven't beaten her a single time in this challenge, and this fight is no different. Magikarp just sat there and got slapped around by Ash Ketchum's dad. We lost very quickly, but this is the final battle of the game by Ash Ketchum's dad. We lost very quickly, but this is the final battle of the game that we don't actually have to win. From here on out, Magikarp will have to conquer every single battle. This was not going to be easy. Now we can enter the Alabaster Icelands. It's rather chilly here, isn't it? Yeah, my nips could cut diamonds right now, and Magikarp doesn't seem to be coping too well either. After a quick dash across the snowfields, we meet Garrick, who has a bad attitude. After slapping him across the face with Magikarp, he forces us to battle, but this went surprisingly well. Magikarp is actually kind of good now. This battle is a 2-on-1, but my almighty fish handles this with ease. My confidence was growing. I started thinking that maybe this challenge wouldn't be too bad after all. What a fool I was. Apparently, we need a flying Pokemon to reach the top of this giant rock. Yeah, it's not like we already have someone capable of getting that high. Anyway, we need Braviary's help, so chase down its warden, Sabi. This brings us to Snow Point Temple, where these huge metal doors are in the way. But a little trick I've learned is that if you hit Magikarp into doors hard enough, they'll simply open up. Neat. At the top of the temple, we come across Sabi, and this is a fight that horrifies me. She uses 3 powerful Pokemon, including an electric type, and to make matters worse, we had to take on all of them at the same time. Let me tell you, I got destroyed. This fight is a nightmare. Let me tell you why. The 2 support Pokemon will constantly paralyze, poison, or burn you, which makes surviving multiple attacks a pain, especially when you have to tank attacks from 3 Pokemon. If that's not enough, keep in mind that Magikarp picks its own target randomly, and
that's the worst part of that.
Work most of the time. This meant I got slapped around over and over and over again. Even after raising Magikarp's level, I continued getting destroyed, until after hours of suffering, I eventually just went all the way to level 100. Our fish had reached its final form, but from here, we wouldn't be able to get any stronger, and I was still getting ripped apart by the RNG until I finally got a crumb of luck. On turn 1, I set up my Orc's Power Guard as usual, but importantly, both Electivire and Magmortar were just looking around. Rhyperior does land high horsepower, but now I get 2 consecutive turns. I tried struggling, and Magikarp still refuses to comply. The next one lands though, finishing Magmortar in 1 shot. After all that recoil damage, my HP is getting low. However, Electivire opts to paralyze me with Thunder Wave, and Magikarp just survives another attack from Rhyperior. I spend the next few turns healing up Magikarp while restoring my Orc's Power Guard. Once I finally get an opening to attack, thankfully this one lands, finishing off Electivire. With the 2 support Pokemon taken care of, now it's a 1-on-1. From here, victory is all but guaranteed as I slowly grind down Rhyperior, finishing it off with a few struggles. Finally, we've beaten 3 powerful Pokemon at the same time with just 1 fish. That took way too long, and that's not even the hardest fight. With Sabi defeated, we're clear to challenge Braviary. We establish our dominance with a few struggles, giving us the power of flight, effectively turning our fish into a flying fish. Now we can soar down and grab the Eternal Ice before charging up the mountain to face the final noble lord, Avalugg. Holy, this thing is huge! Magikarp really wasn't moving much after our last beatdown against Sabi, so I took the lead on this one. Ow! 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 I was on the brink of death, but just landed 1 more bomb to barely scrape by with the win over Avalugg. Damn, so this is how it feels to get beat up. With all the nobles quelled, now Magikarp could finally retire.
Nope.
Oh. That's not good. Anyway, Kamado's been licking Politoads again because for some reason, he thinks I orchestrated this mess. Dude, I only have a useless fish. How could I have pulled this off? You caused this, you better fix it. Oh, fine. Magikarp, I need you for one last job. Glad to have you
Don't
back,
make
buddy.
them
To stop
suffer.
the unfolding disaster, we have to craft the red chain by completing the 3 lake trials. These all involve a battle against a strong alpha Pokemon, but since these are 1v1s, our Magikarp can struggle its way through these no problem. We also have to pass the tests given by each of the lake trio. Your emotions, share them with me.
12 seconds later.
Whoa, you are into some messed up stuff. Just get out of my house.
Just get the hell out of here.
Azelf wants to test my willpower, but seriously, I've been getting slapped around for an eternity using only Magikarp. I think my persistence is already clear. Fair point. With the red chain now crafted, Magikarp and I head for Spear Pillar. But on the way, we're stopped by Benny, who, after doing some ninjutsu...
Yo, honestly though, can we just talk about how it'd be even funnier if at some point they took they read how long you've played the game or something, and if you've played more than, I don't know, 100 hours, 200 hours before you got to that point, the Azelf could have been like, oh wow, yeah, nah man, go on through.
Reveals
Honestly, I think I
himself
might
as our
have
next
to
opponent. He has a team
cut
of
the
powerful
recording and
Pokemon, and this is our first time taking on a team of 4.
regrettably
This
let
would
it
be
render so I
Magikarp's
can
toughest challenge yet. Benny slapped me around,
screw
but it
around
didn't
with
take
Pokemon
too
Go,
long for me to
'cause
figure out a
pretty
strategy.
sure tonight
See,
is
Benny
supposed to
leads with
be
his Miss Magius, which is a problem. It can put Magikarp to sleep with Hypnosis and drop my defenses with Shadow
Transfer
Ball.
candy.
So I have to be careful. I immediately set up my Orc's Power Guard, and importantly, Miss Magius missed its Hypnosis this time around. This lets me land a struggle for big damage. Benny heals, but one more struggle brings Miss Magius right
Weezing's
back
in
to low
rage right now?
HP. I then stall for a bit until Magikarp gets
I
2
gotta do something
consecutive
about that,
turns.
'cause
This lets me
Weezing's
reset
one
my
of those
Orc's
things I
Power
want
Guard
shiny.
before landing the final struggle onto Miss Magius. Next up is Sneasler, who hits hard. However, Magikarp's physical defense is way higher than its special, so Sneasler is actually less of a threat. We can tank close combats pretty well, and this move has the extra benefit of also lowering Sneasler's defense. This means that after some stalling, one single struggle can take it out. Gardevoir, on the other hand, is much more troubling. It's a special attacker, can lower my defenses with Psychic, and boost its own stats with Calm Mind. This makes it the real run killer. I carefully keep my health up with healing items, while also making sure that my Power Guard doesn't run out. Once I get 2 consecutive turns, I finally land a struggle, but this does less than half due to the Calm Mind boost. I have to use my next turn to heal up, but then Gardevoir gets the defense drop. So I'm basically stuck just healing up every turn, praying that Gardevoir doesn't land a crit. Luck was on my side though, as I had a few close calls, but somehow pulled through. Eventually, I had an opening. Magikarp was at full health, still having an attack boost. Since Gardevoir's Calm Mind had now worn off, this struggle was powerful enough to finally get rid of that green fairy. I knew that Benny's last Pokemon was a physical attacker, so I wasn't too worried about Gallade. We tank its attacks much better than Gardevoir's. Within a few turns, Magikarp lands
I'm
a
actually
second
surprised
struggle
this
to
was
finish
no issue
Gallade
for
off
him.
while just surviving the recoil damage.
'Cause
Yeah,
that thing's kind of a
same
bitch,
Magikarp
too.
who couldn't beat a Munchlax just soloed a team of 4 powerful Pokemon. We've come a long way, and even if I don't think we can beat all of this challenge, I was still proud of my fish. Just up ahead, we find Kamado, who's our next opponent. And just like Benny, Kamado has 4 powerful Pokemon made up of 2 physical and 2 special attackers. His team is tough, although I was feeling confident, at least until I got crit on my first attempt and lost. Nice. But to be honest, this fight goes pretty much the exact same as Benny. I have to carefully manage my health and Power Guard while waiting for an opening, but by now I can do that pretty well, and we gradually take out Kamado's Pokemon, who can't overcome the monstrous power of my fish. Kamado bows down, begging for mercy, and just like that, the worst Pokemon in the game had claimed another victim.
Oh,
This
Machino
clears us to
tonight,
finally
Waltz.
reach Spear
Waltz was a
Pillar,
couple
where
weeks
we
ago,
find the
but it is
demonic god of
definitely
space,
transfer candy,
Palkia.
so-
Looks powerful, right? Well, we caught it in a single Ultra Ball. But to deal with the Dialga that comes afterwards, we're going to have to craft an Origin Ball. Okay, so get ready for the burn of the century. Leanne turns up to help us find some rocks, and Melly hits him with, yeesh, that ugly hat suits you as poorly as this important roll does.
That's a burn. Do I have 13 minutes? I mean, yeah, I guess, because I don't really need a ton of time to click all the shit I need. Yeah, okay.
Why
We
do
can
you really
finish
have
this.
to go and end this man's career like that? Anyway, for this quest, we've got a rematch Charm. She still has the same 2 Pokemon as last time, so you might be thinking that this is easy. Wrong. Her Gengar is a demon. Remember how Magikarp doesn't like special attackers? Well, Gengar is an incredibly strong special attacker who can put you to sleep with Hypnosis and drop my defenses with Shadow Ball. Even though she only has 2 Pokemon, this makes Charm a problem, and my luck was terrible. I was getting slapped around, but I just needed to keep on trying until my luck turned around. And after a while, this happened. Charm opens up with Rhydon, but once again, I activate my trusty trap card, Rhydon D's. Rhydon still isn't very threatening. Magikarp can tank its attacks pretty comfortably while slowly wearing it down with struggle. The important thing with Rhydon is making sure that Magikarp has as much health as possible and as many turns of Power Guard remaining for when Gengar comes in. This involves a lot of stalling, but eventually I find an opening, finishing Rhydon with about half of my health remaining. Now
Until
Gengar comes
Gengar
out and immediately
does
puts me to
something
sleep. My health is too low to attack, so I'm basically caught in a loop of healing
Gengar
every turn.
is quite
If
the
Gengar Shadow
motherfucker.
Ball gets a defense drop, then I pretty much lose right there. But on this attempt, that didn't happen. So I was able to keep healing until Gengar spent a turn putting me to sleep again. This gives me an opening to attack, with struggle falling just short of getting the cap.
To be fair, I think he could have put, like, a number of attempts that a particular fight took in the corner or something, because, sure, sometimes he did the little montage of how long it took, but he's just being very vague on which attempt this was, so he thinks it might have taken quite a bit.
KO. I then have to spend the next 2 turns healing until Gengar finally gets the defense drop. However, now it's my turn, so I take the chance, click struggle, and like a champion, Magikarp fights through the drowsiness to finish Gengar, giving us the win. That was way harder than it had any right to be. But with that taken care of, we can finish the quest to craft the Origin Ball, which kinda looks like it's made out of Magikarp scales. This lets us head back to Sphere Pillar.
Actually, I was thinking it kind of looked like a Cherish Ball, even though it's like...
Who would win? The
boy just swallowed a toad or something, it's fine.
legendary, Steel Dragon, God of Time, or Fish? Obviously, Magikarp and I danced all over Dialga, slapping it across the face with my fish and a few bombs to claim a decisive victory.
You also talk about how
honestly
that thing
can't
wasn't
believe he's
even
still
as
alive.
closely
Poor
terrifying
Cyndaquil
as
is so hungry. We'd saved the
couple
day
of the
and the credits
nobles.
rolled, but there was one more fight we needed to win. Legends Arceus has one of the toughest final bosses of any Pokemon game. On top of that, we were running out of time. Magikarp's health was in bad shape. Regardless, we pushed on, determined to finish.
Comment down below what final form is this Magikarp gonna take in when its time is up. Because, like, obviously there's some sort of ongoing joke here, so I want to see what is gonna happen to Magikarp. Is it gonna allow it to turn into a Gyarados, or is it just gonna look kind of like that Pichu that was shown earlier?
Finish the challenge.
But maybe,
before the final
like,
boss, we have to
Holy or
complete a few
something.
quests to obtain the remaining elemental plates. Most of these are pretty straightforward, like defeating an Alpha Vespiquen or giving Kogita some wood.
Kagita,
However,
that's who she
one of
is.
these is particularly
I knew it
annoying.
was something
To get
with
the
a
fifth
G
plate,
in it.
We need to rematch Kamado and his upgraded team. His Pokemon are pretty strong, so it's not easy. But the worst part is that this battle takes place in Jubilife Village. Your Pokemon are fully healed when you enter the village, and there's no way to drain Magikarp's Splash PP before the battle. So we had no choice but to head into this fight with all 40 splashes still remaining. Basically, this means that my only option here is to stall with healing items and drain my Splash
And that
PP when I
sounds
have the chance.
awful.
This is so tedious, as I don't have many free turns against Kamado's
the Magikarp
hard-hitting level
Grey?
65 Pokemon. So this took ages. I played super carefully, and Magikarp was tanking their hits pretty well. I completely PP stalled Kamado's Golem and his Braviary before finally running out of splashes against Heracross. Now we were in the driver's seat, as Magikarp could finally start dealing some damage with struggle. There were a few close moments, but ultimately, this fight went the same as our last one with Kamado, although this one took 40 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. Anyway, the last few plates are obtained by having Magikarp seduce some legendary Pokemon before shoving them into Pokeballs. With that taken care of, now Magikarp and I can take on the final boss of Legends Arceus, Volo. This is one of the hardest fights in any Pokemon game ever. Volo's team is stacked with some of the strongest Pokemon in the game, with a variety of...
When I tell you what I had to do to this motherfucker involved the grit dust, every single legendary Pokemon that I thought would be useful and as much XP candy as possible. Again, check out my series on this because this dude, oh, like, I did the same thing with him that I did with Cynthia. I cut out a majority of each battle until my last Pokemon died so you could gauge my reaction of how pissed I was getting. Like, watch that video, watch the last video of that, and watch the last video of my Brilliant Diamond playthrough. My reactions are pretty much exactly the same for both fights. But I think I got more pissed off with him because of the whole Giratina thing.
Types, moves, and insane damage output. On top of that, Volo has Giratina, who we have to beat twice. And all we have is one little Magikarp with no attacking moves. This is the final hurdle.
See, but that's also the thing though. Like, at least this whole thing is technically easier than a lot of the other mandatory fights because you don't heal. So he can at least stay in struggle range the entire time. The only real son of a bitch is going to be if he doesn't heal on Volo's last Pokemon / heal on the last attack into Giratina. Because that Giratina attacks first as soon as it comes out both times.
One last challenge for Magikarp to overcome. And let me tell you, I got crushed over and over again. Poor Magikarp was getting the smackdown. But all of these losses made one thing clear. This was possible. Incredibly hard, but possible. So how on earth do we do this? Well, Volo leads with Spiritomb, a powerful special attacker that can also put you to sleep with Hypnosis. My strategy here is to immediately use Struggle for some small damage. Regardless of whether Spiritomb attacks or puts me to sleep, I can survive one turn before getting 2 consecutive turns of my own. I can use these to heal up and set up my Orc's Power Guard. Now, you might be wondering why I didn't use the Orc's Power Guard immediately. Well, the reason is that 2 boosted Struggles will usually kill Spiritomb, but by not boosting my stats for the first
also
struggle,
take back my
I put
thing about
Spiritomb into healing range,
earlier
forcing
because I
Volo
just
to use
realized
his
maybe
only
like
full
had
restore.
edited
It is
and
necessary to
done
get that out
already
of the way quickly, as
maybe
it
a
can
week
ruin me
prior
later in the
to
fight.
even the show
Surviving Spiritomb's
releasing.
attacks isn't too hard, so I'm able to set up my Orc's Power Guard, as well as a new
But
item,
still, he
Orc's
could
Evasion,
taken it from
with this one increasing the
Silence
chance
of
that
the Lambs
Volo's
or
moves miss.
Hannibal
Once
or
Magikarp is
something.
relatively healthy, with plenty
I
of
don't know, I
turns
feel like
remaining
it
on
would
my
have been
boosts, I'm clear to
relevant
finish
because
Spiritomb with a
of
second
recent
boosted
releases.
struggle. All of that was just to get rid of Volo's first Pokemon, and now he sends out an even worse one. Roserade. This thing is a run killer. Roserade is a strong grass type who knows the move Petal Dance. As we know from our troubles earlier in the challenge, Magikarp does not like to play in the grass. All it takes is a single Petal Dance and Magikarp just dies on the spot. This is the biggest hurdle of the challenge, and so many attempts ended here. The only way I can survive is if Roserade misses or uses spikes, although this was incredibly rare, hence why I lost so many times here. However, on the runs that were blessed by RNGesus, Roserade would finally miss enough times, allowing me to land the 2 struggles needed to take it down. Next up is Volo's Lucario. It feels weird to say, because Lucario is a beast of a Pokemon, but in this case, Lucario is great for us. See, Volo's Lucario has 3 physical moves and bulk up. Since Magikarp has solid physical defense, we can actually handle its attacks pretty well.
Yeah,
This
so it's
gives me
always
a
nice
chance
to
make
have
sure that
a
Magikarp
Pokemon
is
as a
healed up, while
buffer,
also having plenty of
as it
turns worth
were.
of boosts left. However, while we can easily take out Lucario, this introduces another problem, Togekiss. This is the 3rd and final special attacker of Volo's starting 6, and this is a stone cold killer. If it sets up a Calm Mind, Magikarp is dead to a single strong style Moonblast. It took ages to even make it to Togekiss, only to be crushed in an instant. So I needed a different approach, and this is where the fight gets really cheesy. See, if I want any chance against Togekiss, I need Volo to send it out on his turn, rather than giving him a free switch by taking out Lucario. So how do we do that? Well, by taking advantage of the most toxic strategy in Pokemon, PP stalling. Remember the
you've
first
done
battle
that
against
enough.
Charm? We learned that when an opponent has multiple Pokemon and one runs out of PP, the trainer will switch into another Pokemon. So, my idea is to stall out Lucario and force Volo to use his turn to switch into Togekiss, giving me enough time to take it out. In reality though, that's not what happened, because after I spent ages stalling out Lucario, now Volo switches into his Arcanine. This is yet another physical attacker, and I can't afford to take it down with struggle, or we'll just end up back in the the same spot as before against an incoming Togekiss. So once again, I have no real choice.
I mean,
but to
hey,
rely
at
on
least
PP
PP stalling out
again.
both Pokemon
Luckily,
helps.
Arcanine isn't too much of a threat, so this is pretty risk-free. But of course, once it does run out, Volo now switches into Garchomp. Garchomp is actually a little scary because it has Earth Power in its moveset. It's dangerous because it's a special move and has a chance to lower my defenses. This could have been bad, but luckily I stalled out the Earth Powers without any catastrophes. From there, Garchomp is reduced to its physical attacks, so after yet more stalling, Volo finally has no choice but to switch into Togekiss. At this moment,
You gotta appreciate the patience for not only the whole playthrough up to this point, but that specifically where like, he should go to his Togekiss now, and it just cycles through the other two Pokemon before getting to this bloody bird. Well, it's not quite a bird, but it's bird-like.
I was petrified. The battle had been going on for 30 minutes, and this was the furthest I'd made it. Since Volo made the switch, I get to attack first and immediately fire off a boosted struggle, but this does less than half, which is a huge disappointment. Togekiss then connects with a Moonblast, and I'm forced to heal up. Now I've got two moves in a row, and use the first one to hit Togekiss again, just barely falling short of getting the KO. Crucially though, now my Power Guard is worn off, so I don't have enough HP to tank a Moonblast and attack. So I had no choice but to take a risk. I kept on healing, and Togekiss kept on firing Moonblasts, and thank God none of them crit. This let me survive long enough until I got 2 turns in a row, using them to heal up and set up an Orc's Power Guard. With a reduced damage from Moonblast, now I'm safe to fire off a struggle, finally taking out that demonic bird. While Volo still has 3 Pokemon, all of them can only use Struggle. This means that there's no risk. I can just stall until they take themselves out with Recoil. Although, it's important that my health is as high as possible for the end of the fight, as I won't be healed before Giratina. With that in mind, before long, Volo's final 3 Pokemon were taken out in quick succession, and we defeated Volo's base team. However, that's just the entree, because now we have to beat Giratina twice. This thing is a menace. Its attacks are all different types, split between both physical and special. I immediately set up my Power Guard, but Giratina just puts me right into low health. It does so much damage that I can't even risk attacking.
So, do you think he's actually going to be able to beat both without having to restart the entire thing at least one more time? I mean, he's level 100 and is probably completely EV'd out, so from here it's really just a matter of luck. So, like he said, this is possible to win, but
as the struggle damage will let Giratina finish me on the following turn. Once again, Magikarp only had one option: stall. By using an Orc's Evasion, Giratina will shift to only using Aura Sphere since that move can't miss. As long as I keep my Power Guard up, Magikarp can survive Aura Sphere, allowing me to heal up and maintain my boosts. But
good strats, good strats.
Aura Spheres, here is where it gets risky, because now it uses Earth Power. This has the potential to lower my defense, and if that happens, I can lose very quickly, as I need that buff to survive the onslaught of Giratina's attacks. But all I can do is believe in my fish, until Giratina landed a critical hit, and Magikarp just hung on. What a king! We almost lost the run right there. I could now heal back.
See, now that wouldn't have been a thing if it wasn't for the whole crits don't bypass stat changes like in any other game. So he got lucky that was a thing in this game, because it could have went way different.
And Giratina was down to only Dragon Claw and Shadow Force. 2 physical moves that Magikarp can tank comfortably. This means that
did he take like 400 of each of those items or something? Because that's what it would have required to do this, I swear.
Now Giratina comes back in its origin form, and I am petrified of this thing. For context, this attempt alone was already 1 hour long. We'd had a few close calls against the previous Giratina, but this one has an even higher attack stat, which means those close calls from earlier would now instead be a loss. But I don't really have a choice other than stalling and sending prayers to RNGesus. Since Giratina's PP is restored, The start of this fight is the exact same, with my Orc's evasion forcing Giratina to first drain all of its Aura Sphere PP. I do have to risk a few crits, but overall, this goes pretty smooth. And from here, those prayers to RNGesus really started paying off, because everything was going Magikarp's way. Giratina was missing Earth powers, and importantly, I was dodging the defense drops. All of the struggle, all of the bad luck in this run, it was all for this moment. And on the grandest stage of them all, my one little fish was clutching up. And once Giratina ran out of Earth powers, its fate was sealed. It's only fitting that this challenge ends with struggle, but it won't be my struggle, as the last little bit of recoil damage finally slaughters Giratina. With that win over Volo, we've finally beaten the challenge, Magikarp. Magikarp? No!
Well,
Rest in peace, Magikarp. Thanks for watching.
I don't
Jump
blame
into
him.
this video next for more Pokemon.
damn, he didn't even do some really cool change to it like the Bidoof for the Pichu. He just literally let it die because it's useless. That's unfortunate. But that was fun. Holy shit, this video is an hour and 20 minutes long. Alright. I suppose I'll try and wrap this one up quick. Yeah, go leave your support on the actual video, watch it again, like, subscribe, watch it before I did this whole thing. At least I would have hoped you would have. But yeah, subscribe to Keegan, like his video. I guess I should at least be fair enough to do that. And subscribe here and like this video because I need way more support than the people I'm going to start doing these reactions from. But you should still show them support because they do way better content than a lot of people's videos I've seen, including some of my own. But I try to put out the best content I can, and I always appreciate any sort of help, tips, or otherwise in the comment section. So, I mean, go support them, support me, like Facebook, follow Twitter, subscribe to my anime channel where I do reactions of anime content and might start playing some anime games to upload on there. Ring both bells, TikTok, Twitch, subscribe over there. And don't forget to check out my Legends Arceus playthrough I did a few months ago and my current running playthrough where every time I hit a 0 in subscriber count, I restart the whole run. Ta-ta for now. Peace.